As the lights went up on Valorant's first ever World Championships, Sentinels licked their wounds, Gambit dreamt of what could have been, and Acend polished their new trophy, teams from Oceania watched the action in Berlin from afar. Not because they weren't good enough to make the cut, but because they simply weren't given the chance. As a region, Oceania was supposed to be competing with North America in the final call for champions. Two teams, Order and Chief Esports, earned the chance to travel to take on the best of the rest in NA in the last chance qualifier for the biggest Valorant tournament ever. But after a series of complex issues around travelling during the pandemic blindsided everyone, and accusations of bad planning against Riot set social media aflame, the Aussies were told they were simply no longer invited to the party. The fallout was dramatic, and the snubbing of an entire region mere days before their one shot at Worlds left a bad taste in the mouths of players and fans alike. Several players retired from the game entirely out of sheer frustration over the way things had been handled, leaving orgs and teams in complete disarray. In truth though, the no-fly order was the spike that broke Valorant's back in Oceania in 2021. The Valorant Oceania Tour, partnered with Riot and ran as a way to support the region, struggled for prestige all year, mostly thanks to the fact that there was only one possible way to qualify for the biggest event, namely finishing the season as one of the top two teams in Oceania and then travelling to America to fight it out with 8 other North American teams for a single place at Champions. There was no pathway to Masters events, regardless of how good they were, meaning the two teams who eventually did come out on top, Australia's Order and Chiefs, had absolutely no international LAN experience whatsoever in the build-up to the last chance qualifiers. And while players, coaches and orgs were understanding of the issues caused by the pandemic when it came to travel, the frustration of not being able to take part in their one international opportunity of the year boiled over, especially when so many other competitions had managed to pull international events off with Oceania represented, including Riot's other esports behemoth, League of Legends. Oceania had become Valorant's forgotten region. Cut off from the rest of Future Earth and unable to compete, there were fears the region's pro-Valorant scene was dead before it had even got off the ground. But as we leave 2021 firmly in the rearview mirror, there may yet be hope for this forgotten region of the Valorant esports world. New Year is all about ambition and resolutions after all. 2022 has brought a fresh wave of Valorant Champions Tour goodness to us all, and for once that actually includes Oceania as well. So can the region survive, or better yet revive, to join the rest of Future Earth at the World Championships? The first step to resurrecting the scene will see Oceania's teams finally given the chance to play for more than just a single long shot place at VCT Champions, and teams will be able to battle it out for a spot at Masters events, and open qualifiers mean no matter who you are, if you're talented enough, you could have a shot at making your mark on this slowly waking, sleeping giant of a scene. The old system of dragging Oceania's finest to deepest North America to earn their stripes has been thrown out and replaced with a much more sensible Asia-Pacific qualification route, taking on the best teams from the likes of the Japanese and Korean circuits. It's not all that easy to get there, of course, and Oceania sides still probably have the most hoops to jump through to even get a shot at qualifying for a truly international event, but just getting to share the field with teams from beyond their regional borders will make a massive difference to the quality of play they're exposed to. Good for the players, great for the scene. And it's the first step towards bringing regions from further afield into play and creating a truly global esports scene on Future Earth. The team that wins each stage's Oceanic Regional Playoff will bag a spot at that APAC Battle Royale for a shot not only at those elusive Masters places, but for the biggest prize of them all, a chance at Champions. All being well, it won't be long before we see the likes of Tux and Tensei leading the best down under and beyond has hidden away onto the world stage. It's a far cry from the single shot at international glory Oceania were afforded for the whole of 2021. And the chance to take on Asia-Pacific teams like Full Sense and Damwon Gaming Kia, while hardly easy matches, won't intimidate Oceania's best initiators, especially after facing down the daunting prospect of trying to topple North American powerhouses like 100 Thieves and Cloud9. Oceania's Valorant sides have only ever wanted and only ever asked for a fair shot at the top table of the fledgling esport. And to Riot's credit, after the wave of issues caused by the pandemic and the tumultuous few months for players, orgs, and devs alike, they're finally giving the region the chance it deserves. The question now, of course, is if it's too little too late. Oceania's players and orgs have been thrown a healing orb. Now they need to prove the region has the skills and the composure to clutch it out when it counts most.